The cold temperatures are causing some problems, definitely, for the water company as well. Workers got a rather chilly awakening this morning. On East Broadway this morning, the water was bubbling out after a water main break. These cold temperatures have kept the water company hopping with several breaks throughout the day. Officials say their biggest problem has been just getting to the water breaks. They're asking, however, that if your home or your business is without power, as Doug just said, if you're going to be in your home, keep a small trickle of water running so your pipes won't burst. And if you're going to be leaving your home and the power is out, definitely try and shut that water off if you can.
Sound familiar there.
Never hurts to say it twice.
Oh, you're right.
And Chuck only needs to tell us once it's very cold out there. Right, Chuck?
We're talking about record-breaking cold. Earlier this morning, just a few hours ago, we set a low temperature record for this date, 10 below zero here in Louisville. Now, temperatures are still below zero. It's 6 below right now with a wind chill of 39 below zero. Maybe this afternoon we'll struggle up to zero. And tonight, guess what? We're going to tie a record of 14 below. It may even go colder than that. Well, we have some very cold storm team trackers that have been out checking their thermometers this morning. Up in Madison, Indiana, the temperature is now 5 below zero. Howard Hall in Underwood, Indiana, and Clark County reports 4 below zero. Steve Mangus over in the Knobs in Floyd County reports 8 below zero, and it's cold even southwest of here. David Hayes in Hardinsburg reports an icy 4 below zero. Now, the National Weather Service has issued a wind chill warning. You really shouldn't be out this afternoon. We're talking wind chills 40 to 50 below zero, and this brutal cold weather will continue at least through the day tomorrow, but there is hope for later on this week for a warming trend, and I'll have more on that and the complete forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chuck. Well, all morning long, there have been meetings with the mayor and the county judge executive to evaluate the response to this record-breaking snowstorm.
And emergency workers at City Hall have been working overtime, to say the least. So has our Lisa Chiava, and she joins us live now from the command center at downtown Louisville City Hall. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Doug. Rachel. Emergency workers here say that the city and the county are making progress in terms of snow removal. But even they don't predict that life will return to normal tomorrow or anytime soon. It'll be Thursday or Friday at the very earliest. Now, this is what things have looked like pretty much all day here. People answering phones, taking requests from doctors and nurses who need rides to hospitals and so forth, and also taking requests from dialysis patients who need assistance, need four-wheel drive vehicles to get to their emergency centers. They're being encouraged to call their dialysis centers instead of calling here, but they will take those calls as well. Finding four-wheel drive volunteers is a special problem today. Yesterday's volunteers are tired or they're working, so they're difficult to find. That's why they're calling in more National Guard troops into the county. There are already about 100 soldiers on duty with Humvee vehicles. Now, earlier today, as you mentioned, officials held a strategy meeting about snow removal. Here's what some of them had to say.
Is a problem in the sense that we're not using it now because the weather temperature has dropped too low, so we're going to hold up on our salt since the county and the city have just so much salt available at this point. We're going to wait and put it down when the weather temperature comes up and gives us an opportunity to respond.
We're working on some concerns with fuel problems. We think those are resolved. We're working on a transportation grid which will give us a better service for all of our emergency vehicles throughout the county. We're working very closely with, as I mentioned earlier, the National Guard in areas where we're trying to provide additional transportation for critical personnel, both in hospitals and government.
Now, County Judge Executive Dave Armstrong is going to join us live now because he'd like to update us on something that the governor said in his press conference about gas restrictions.
I've talked to the governor, and I'm going to talk to him as soon as we complete this. There is currently a state fire marshal ban about moving flammable fuel, and that's something we desperately need for the next 2 to 3 days here. So I'm going to ask if we can get some sort of exemption from him as a result of our need. All of our police and emergency vehicles depend on fuel that is derived from the tank, so we need some dispensation from the governor, and we're working on that now.
And an update on the TARC buses.
TARC will run from 7 a.m. this morning and run to 7 p.m. It's the last bus out of downtown Louisville, 7 p.m. There'll be no charge for
Free service from Target.
Service from Target.
Okay, thank you, Judge. And also an update on the shelter situation. Western Middle School will open at 4 o'clock. Western Middle School will open at 4 o'clock. A number of people have been taking advantage of the shelters. About 100 people in Jefferson County, nearly 500 people in Bullitt County taking advantage of the shelters. Rachel, Doug?
All right, thanks a lot, Lisa Chiava.
Thank you very much, Lisa. LG&E crews are going to work all day long to repair the power outages. Right now, there are 10,000 LG&E customers without power. Improvement from yesterday. Remember, there was 20,000 of them out. This is coming from mostly downed tree limbs falling onto the wires. Now, if you have a problem with your power, or you notice those down power lines we've been talking about, call 589-3500. Again, this is a special 1-hour WHAS 11 storm team report. We're going to have a lot more information for you coming up, including with temperatures below zero. It's been a rough day outside.
That's right. That's why we're going to head out now to Bill Minish, who's been out there braving the cold weather all morning long. What can you tell us, Bill? First of all, tell us exactly where you are. Obviously, an interstate behind you.
Yeah, exactly. We're on I-65. We're in the northbound lane south of the city. Fern Valley Road is right in front of us here. And I'll tell you where else we are. We're in a graveyard of semi-trucks. They are all over the place. We got one here, two behind here, and a couple ahead of us, too. And I'll tell you what, here's the reason why they're back here. It's this mound of snow that is right here. I mean, look at this. It comes up to about my thigh. So these trucks were back here before the snow hit, and now the plows have come by, they've pushed the snow up, and they are stuck here. How did they get out? Well, let's look at some tape that we shot earlier of trucks that were stranded. They sat there and spun their tires, did everything they could to try to get out, and it came down to asking fellow drivers to give a helping hand. So they loaded on the chains, and they did everything they could to pull each other out, finally getting free from these ruts that have built up on the side of the highway, and once they're out of there, they get back to their destination. Now, when we come back here live, I'll give you an idea of just how bad it was. I saw Mark Hebert showing his area, and it is just the same problem here. Take a look down. We're just off the highway, and this is so deep. You can't, even kicking like that, get down to the surface. And then now I'm even finding, as you get down there, it is a solid sheet of ice underneath. Now, 1 o'clock is when they say they're going to start moving these vehicles off. I think they're more concerned with the ones that are blocking, where these ones aren't exactly blocking. These have to be moved, from what we understand, from what I've been hearing, at 8 o'clock tomorrow. One problem with that, I made several phone calls to tow truck companies. The first two were in southern Indiana. I asked them if they could come help some folks that we had been talking with all day. They said there was no way. They couldn't get across, couldn't get off the off-ramps to give them a helping hand. So I called a Louisville company. The last number I got, the problem with them, they said it'd be 24 hours before they could get and help these folks out. 24 hours, roughly 9 o'clock when I made the call. That puts them an hour past the deadline. So these truckers, unfortunately, are in a little bit of a tough bind right now. Rachel?
That's for sure. Thanks a lot, Bill Minish, reporting live for us. Well, about the only way to get around today is with a four-wheel drive truck. Now, if you have a four-wheel drive, lots of people could use your help. And if you would like to help, we have this phone number we want you to call, the 4x4 Club. The number is 574-3900. Again, that's 574-3900.
And one new closing to pass along to you that we have here. The Toyota plant in Georgetown, Kentucky has canceled its second-day shift for today. Again, that's no second shift today at Toyota in Georgetown.